Very good morning, dear students. In this video, I am going to continue with the topic that is chemical bonding and molecular structure. So, till last class, we have seen about what is ionic bond, conditions for the ionic bond, and electrovalency for different types of elements. In this session, I am going to explain about what is lattice energy, okay, or lattice enthalpy. So, lattice energy or enthalpy is defined as the energy required or enthalpy changed when 1 mole of ionic solid is converted into gaseous ions. So, one solid is present in 1 mole. If you want to convert that 1 mole solid into different types of gaseous ions, whatever the energy is required or enthalpy is changed, we can observe that is nothing but lattice energy. Listen carefully. It is defined as the energy required or enthalpy change when 1 mole of ionic solid is converted into gaseous ion. So, when 1 mole of solid ne gaseous, to convert gaseous ions, whatever the amount of energy is required, so that is nothing but lattice enthalpy. So it is the amount of energy required or enthalpy changed to convert 1 mole of solid into gaseous ions is called lattice enthalpy. So now we want to see about its significance, that is nothing but importance. Okay, so significance of lattice energy, that means in which ways we can use this, or there will be some importance of this in lattice enthalpy. So the first importance or significance of this lattice energy is that the strength of ionic bond. The strength of ionic bond. To know whether the ionic bond is more strong or weak, so we can use this lattice enthalpy. So if greater is the lattice energy, so greater will be the ionic bond strength. Okay, so whenever more amount of energy is required to break a bond, then the strength of ionic bond is also said to be very high. That means greater is the lattice energy, greater will be the strength of bond. So that means by using this lattice enthalpy, we can easily explain about the strength of a bond. Next, so in second way also we can use this lattice enthalpy to know about the stability of solid. Same, directly proportional. So greater is the lattice energy, greater is the stability of the solid. So once lattice enthalpy increases, stability of the solid also gets increases. And the third one is hardness. Hardness is directly proportional to lattice enthalpy. Hardness is again directly proportional to lattice enthalpy. Once the lattice energy increases, the solid will be very hard and hard. So, but ionic solids are hard, but they are brittle in nature. Next, finally, melting point is also directly proportional to lattice energy. So, we can explain a melting point of solid based on lattice enthalpy. If lattice enthalpy is more, then that type of solid is containing higher melting points. If lattice enthalpy is less, then such type of solids are containing least melting points. That means by using lattice enthalpy or energy, we can explain all these properties of a solid. So we can explain about the strength of ionic bond, we can explain about the stability of solid, hardness of the solid, melting points of the solid. Okay, so this is very important for 2 mark. What is lattice energy? So that is nothing but amount of energy required to convert 1 mole of solid into gaseous ions. Okay, now we want to know about covalent bond. So covalent bond is nothing but a chemical bond. Like ionic bond, even covalent bond is also said to be one of the chemical bond, but it is formed by sharing of electrons between the 2 atoms. Then that type of bond is known as covalent bond. See, now A is containing 1 electron, B is containing 1 electron. So to make a bond between the 2 atoms, it requires 2 electrons. Okay, so it needs 1 electron, even B needs 1 electron. Then what happens? It will be donated to B and B electron is donated to A. Mutually these 2 atoms are sharing these 2 electrons. Then exactly these 2 electrons present at the center of these 2 atoms. That means only one pair of electrons which are shared by the 2 atoms to make a bond between them, then such bond is known as covalent bond. Such bond is known as covalent bond. Equal sharing of electrons between the two atoms. Equal sharing of electrons between the two atoms is called covalent bond. Now we'll see about another important concept of this chapter, that is Lewis octet theory. So Lewis octet theory, they have proposed to explain about the stability of an atom. If any atom wants to exist in a stable condition, it should contain octet configuration in its outermost shell. So octet configuration is nothing but presence of 8 electrons in the valence shell. But for few element, duplet configuration can also give stability. That is nothing but presence of 2 electrons in its valence shell. So now we want to know what is Lewis octet theory. According to this rule, an atom loses or gain electrons. An atom loses or gain electrons either to complete its octet or its duplet configuration. Okay, here what is happening? An atom is going to lose an electron or gain an electron. Why this process is taking place? To reach or to complete its octet configuration or duplet configuration. So they are trying to lose electron. If more than 8 electrons present in the valence shell, then try to lose that extra electron and reaches the octet configuration. Or if one electron or more than one electron is less to reach the octet configuration, then the element or the atom tries to gain the electron to reach this octet configuration or duplet configuration. Then that is said to be Lewis octet theory. So according to this theory or this rule, an atom loses or gain electron either to complete its octet or duplet configuration. That is to reach 8 electrons in the valence shell or to reach 2 electrons in the valence shell. So for this we can take all octet configuration or duplet configuration containing elements. Zero group elements are the elements which are containing octet configuration or duplet configuration in its outermost shell. So those are nothing but noble gases, which are also known as zero group elements. So helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, all these elements are known as zero group elements because they are containing a stable duplet configuration or octet configuration. So for example, helium. In helium, outermost shell is containing 2 electrons. What is the helium atomic number? 2. Its configuration is 1s2. See, only one energy level is there, that has to be taken as valence shell. Valence shell is nothing but the outermost shell. Here only one shell is present, that should be considered as valence shell. In this valence shell, 2 electrons are present which completed its duplet configuration, then it is stable. Now neon. Neon atomic number is 10. Its configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. 6 plus 2, 8, 8 plus 2, 10. Okay, now here 2 energy levels are present, first energy level and second energy level. So this second energy level is now considered as outermost shell, which is nothing but valence shell. Now see, in valence shell how many electrons are present? 6 plus 2, 8. It is containing 6 plus 2, 8 electrons. That means it reached its outermost configuration, which is equals to octet, so that we can say it is stable. Like that, even all these elements are containing 8 electrons in its outermost shell, which is said to be octet configuration. So all these are stable in nature. That means according to this rule, an atom, not these atoms, other type of atoms loses or gain electrons to complete its octet configuration or duplet configuration. Okay, so next, Lewis dot structure. So here we want to write a Lewis dot. In this Lewis dot structure, instead of bonds, we can use electrons to represent a bond around it. Okay, in Lewis dot structure, we can represent electrons or dots in place of bonds to represent a bond between them. So first we want to know how to write this Lewis dot structure. So this is important for 2 mark or 3 mark. Okay, it can be asked either for 3 mark or 2 mark. How to write a Lewis dot structure, we'll see. So first we want to write the structure based on the valence electrons or outermost electrons. We want to write the structure based on valence electrons or outermost electrons. Octet, it should follow octet or duplet rule. While writing the structure, the element should follow octet or duplet rule. Octet rule for central metal atom may not be possible. That means may be neglected. So it may follow or may not. That's not a problem. Octet rule for central atom. Only for central atom may be neglected. Okay, while writing Lewis dot structure, first we have to write the structure based on the valence electrons or outermost electrons, and we have to write the octet. While writing this Lewis dot structure, the element should follow octet configuration or duplet configuration. That means the outermost shell should contain either 8 electrons or 2 electrons. Okay, so octet rule may not be possible for the central metal atom. That means it may be neglected for the central atom. Understand? Now we'll see what are the rules to follow while writing this Lewis dot structure. So first rule is that selecting central atom. So first we have to, because many atoms are present in a compound. For example, here I am taking NH3. That is nothing but ammonia. So this ammonia containing 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen. So first we have to select the central atom. Here we have to select the central atom. So how to select the central atom? So that central atom should be in a least number. Whatever the atoms, here 2 different types of atoms are there. One is nitrogen, other one is hydrogen. Nitrogen is only in 1 number, hydrogen is in 3 number. Whatever the atom is in least number, that has to be considered as central atom, or the atom which is with least electronegativity, that is also taken as central atom, or the atom with large size. Atom with large size is also considered as central atom, or atom with highest atomic number also considered as central atom. So least number. So nitrogen is only in 1 number, hydrogen is in 3 number. So this is in least number, so we can take it as a central atom. And large in size. When compared to hydrogen, nitrogen atomic size is large only. And highest atomic number, hydrogen atomic number is just 1, nitrogen atomic number is 7. So this is in largest atomic number, so we can consider it as central atom. Okay, by using these reasons we can easily find out a central atom in a given compound. And remember, hydrogen and fluorine can never be act as central atom. So this is important condition. Hydrogen and fluoride cannot be act as central atom. Next, octet of corner atom must be completed. So octet for corner atoms. Now these hydrogens are said to be corner atoms. So their octet configuration must be completed. At least if there is no possibility of octet, for hydrogen it should contain duplet configuration. Okay, corner atom should complete its octet configuration. If it is hydrogen, then it should complete its duplet configuration. Next, central atom can have 8 or more electrons. This is central atom. So that central atom may contain 8 electrons or more than 8 electrons. Next, central atom tries to remain in maximum covalency. So central atom tries to remain in maximum covalency. I'll give you covalences for different types of atoms. You just remember all these 4 rules. First rule is that selection of a central atom. Based on these properties, we can select the central metal atom. So, and these two cannot be act as a central metal atom, and these may be central atom. So, if one's octet if once the central material atom selected, then octet of corner atom must be completed. So these are corner atoms. Except central atom, remaining all are said to be corner atom. So that corner atom's configuration, octet configuration or duplet configuration for hydrogen must be completed. Central atom can have 8 electrons or more than 8 electrons. Central atom tries to remain in maximum covalency. I'll give the list of elements with the covalency, you just remember. See here, I have given covalences for different types of elements. Okay, see, oxygen covalency is 2, sulfur covalency is 6, nitrogen covalency 5, phosphorus covalency 5, and carbon covalency 4, silicon covalency 4, chloride covalency 7. Along with that, it can also exist in 1, 3, 5, 7 also. Okay, so you just remember this. Based on this, the central, if they are acting as central atoms, they should satisfy its covalencies like this. That means the number of bonds it can able to form, the maximum number of it can able to form. Oxygen should form 2 bonds, sulfur should form 6 bonds, nitrogen should form 5, sometimes it may also form 3. Phosphorus can form 5, sometimes it may also form 3 and 5. Okay, so based on the covalency, we have to balance its number of bonds. Next, how to, so following calculations we can write the Lewis dot structure. So to write Lewis dot structure, here we are following few calculations. Okay, so first thing is that we have to calculate total charge or total number of electrons. Total charge can be calculated if you know total number of valence electrons in all the atoms. So total charge is nothing but total number of valence electrons in all the atoms. Total valence electrons of all the atoms. You just remember, while calculating I'll explain you. And next we have to calculate bond pair electrons. Formula to calculate bond pair electrons equals to 2 into number of bonds. 2 into number of bonds. Lone pair of electrons we have to know. Formula is that it is equals to total charge. Okay, this total charge minus bond pair can give lone pair. So this lone pair of electrons can exist either as lone pair or it may involve in the formation of double or triple bonds. Okay, to write Lewis dot structure, we have to know these three. First, total charge or electrons, that can be calculated total number of valence electrons present in all atoms. Next, bond pair of electrons, that is calculated by using 2 into number of bonds. Lone pair of electrons equals to total charge minus bond pair electrons. If you know these three, by using that we can easily write the Lewis dot structure. So here I have taken an example of oxygen. Oxygen atomic number, first write down, that is 8. Write its configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, sorry, 2p4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 8. So this is the configuration of oxygen. Just remember outermost configuration. This is valence configuration. First we want to know valence electrons. So valence electrons, in this is called valence shell. Whatever the number of electrons present in valence shell, that is said to be valence electrons. In valence shell, how many electrons are there? 4 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6 electrons. In valence shell, 6 electrons are present. You just remember that in the mind. Next, first step is draw a single bond rough structure. 2 oxygen atoms are there. I have taken 2 oxygen atoms. A single bond is drawn between these two, and each oxygen 6 electrons are present. But on this only 4 are present because one pair is used in the formation of bond. Now I am considering it as first structure and it as second oxygen. This is first oxygen, second oxygen. And first oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here 2 electrons are there. So 6 plus 2, 8. Its octet configuration is balanced. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 are present. So first do the calculation to write the structure of oxygen molecule. So what is the calculation? First we have to find total charge. Formula we know, that is total valence electrons of all the atoms. Here only 2 atoms are present. Both the oxygen atoms are same. Their valence electrons we know 6 in each. Okay, total charge equals to 2 atoms. Total number of atoms are 2. Each contains 6 valence electrons. 2 into 6 equals to 12. Okay, next second thing is that bond pair electron. This is the formula. Bond pair electrons equals to 2 into number of bonds. How many bonds are present here? At present only 1. 2 into 1, that is equals to 2. Okay, now we know total charge and bond. By using that bond pair of electrons, by using that we can find lone pair electrons. Lone pair electrons equals to total charge minus bond pair electrons. Total charge is 12. Bond pair is 2. 12 minus 2, 10. 10 lone pair of electrons should be present. These 10 may exist as lone pair, or they may participate in the formation of double bond or triple bond. Okay, now we'll see. Hence, so here the second oxygen's octet is not balanced. Octet in the sense 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only present. Still it is lack of 2 electrons. Therefore, one lone pair of electrons on the first oxygen atom involved in the formation of a bond between them. Then the structure will be like this. One bond is used. Then this oxygen contains how many lone pair of electrons? 2. And this will be 2. That is only I have written here. Okay, clear? So here 2 pairs and here 2 pairs, and here double bond between the oxygen. We can also write this structure like this. Oxygen here, oxygen here. Upon this 2 lone pair of electrons, and here 2 lone pair of electrons. And between these 2 oxygens 4 electrons are existing. Remember, each bond contains 2 electrons. Here one more bond, totally 4 electrons. You can write these 4 electrons at the center of 2 oxygen atom. Now these 4 electrons are shared by both the oxygen atoms. Then we can write like this. These 2 pairs can be present on the oxygen. These 2 pairs can be sharing between the 2 oxygen atoms. Okay, so this is our final answer. Exact Lewis dot structure of oxygen is this. It can be written if you know these 3 rules, calculations. Okay, total charge, bond pair of electrons, and lone pair of electrons. Now we'll try to write Lewis dot structure for nitrogen. So step 1 is that writing the structure roughly. Okay, first write atomic number of nitrogen, that is 7. Configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So this is first energy level, second energy level. So last energy level is taken as valence shell. So valence shell is containing how many electrons? 3 plus 2, 5. So now valence number of electrons are 5. Okay, first step, rough structure. That is nitrogen bond, nitrogen. Okay, it should contain 5 electrons. In that, one involved in the formation of bond. Okay, one from this nitrogen, 1 electron from this nitrogen involved in the formation of a bond. Now second step, calculations. First we have to calculate total charge, that is equals to total charge is equals to number of atoms, that is 2 atoms into number of valence electrons, that is 5. 2 5s are 10, that is the total charge or total number of electrons. Then bond pair electrons. Okay, this bond pair electrons is equals to 2 into number of bonds in them, that is 2 into 1 equals to 5. So 2 into 1 equals to 2. Okay, then lone pair of electrons, that is equals to total charge minus bond pair electrons. What is total charge? 10 minus bond pair electrons are 2, that is equals to 8. This is the lone pair of electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lone pair of electrons are present. They may present as like this, or they may also exist in the formation of bond. Now see, nitrogen bond, nitrogen, 2 electrons, 4 electrons, 6 and 8. If it is like this, here to balance its valency or octet configuration, nitrogen, 2 nitrogens I am writing, and the bond between them I have written first bond. Okay, but here first, see the first nitrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons only is there. So to reach octet configuration, it requires one more pair of electrons. Okay, octet configuration andre 8 electrons irbeku. To reach these 8 electrons, first count number of electrons on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Around it only 6. Around it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again it is having 6. That means one pair of electrons from this nitrogen, one pair of electrons from this nitrogen involved in the formation of bond. That means here triple bond is located. Upon this nitrogen, how many pairs of electrons, lone pair of electrons are left? 1. Upon this only 1. Now see total number of electrons around each nitrogen atom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For first one it is balanced. See the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here also balanced. Complete structure is 2 nitrogen atoms with lone pair of electrons. Okay, between them 6 a lone pair of electrons are present. These 6 electrons are shared by the 2 atoms. We can write complete structure like this. This is exact answer of our question. Okay, like this I have given for fluorine and hydrogen also, hydrogen fluoride. See, for hydrogen fluoride, first we have to find out total number of charge, that is total number of valence electrons. We know hydrogen atomic number 1, it is containing only one valence electron. For fluorine, its atomic number 9, here I am writing fluorine atomic number 9, its configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Okay, so total number of valence, this last shell is known as valence shell. Now see number of total valence electrons here, 5 plus 2, that is equals to 7. In hydrogen only 1, in fluorine valence electrons are 7. 1 plus 7, 8. Bond pair of electrons is nothing but 2 into number of bonds. 2 into number of bonds. Between hydrogen and fluorine only one bond is present. 2 into 1 is equals to 2. Now lone pair of electrons. In this lone pair of electrons, we have to minus total charge minus bond pair of electrons. That is 8 minus 2, that is nothing but 6. 6 lone pair of electrons should be present. Hydrogen and fluorine. Okay, so 6 lone pair of electrons should be on the central atom. See, duplet, hydrogen always contains duplet configuration. That means it should contain only 2 electrons. 1 electron, 2 electrons. Its duplet configuration is satisfied. And fluorine should contain octet configuration. In the sense, it should contain 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons. We can also write this structure as H, 2 electrons, fluorine, and upon fluorine 6 pair of electrons. These two electrons are sharing by hydrogen as well as fluorine. We can write like this. In the same manner I have given for F2. So this is homework question for you. You just try to find out the Lewis dot structure for NH3 and send the answers to me. Thank you.